Hi, welcome to this final tutorial video for making Space Invaders with Scratch. This one doesn't directly follow on from the previous three tutorial videos. It's referring to a different Scratch file as well, version 4, which you can also download from the Game On page. But it kind of jumps forward from where version 3 finished in the previous tutorial videos to some other things that you can add on to your game to make it a bit more advanced. So first thing I'm going to do is just play the game and you can get an idea of some of the things that are in there, and then we'll look around some of the features and how they're added. It won't go through everything step by step, but because a lot of it builds on the previous instructions, and you can download the file as well, of course. Hopefully most of it should make sense once you've had a look around it yourself. Right, so if we play the game, first thing you notice is that we have a title screen on in front of us there that's got some instructions on. We imported some of these sprites from the sprites folder just onto the title screen, and you can see it says press P to play, so let's go ahead and do that. So there's our first row of aliens. We had that in the previous version. You can see second row now appears, and the third row, and the fourth row as well, all going gradually faster, all working their way down the screen, except that top row there. Oh, I'm in trouble here. I think this orange one's going to get me. Game over. Right, the first thing to look at is the title screen. That's fairly simple really, that's just in the stage area, and if you go to the backgrounds tabs you can see there it is, intro screen. Let's quickly look at that in edit mode. So we added and imported some of those sprites on and then added the text on top. It has a little bit of script on the background there that when the flag is clicked it goes to that intro screen, and after that it takes pressing the P key to switch screens to the game screen, and that instruction was on the bottom of the title screen as well. So pressing P now is the thing that triggers everything rather than the flag block. The flag only initially makes that title screen and everything go into the correct positions for that bit. So if we look at our alien sprites, for example, they are told, and this is the same for pretty much everything in the game, when the flag is clicked now they're hidden, but if the P key is pressed then they show, and that's the same for my cannon as well. Up at the top here you can see when the flag is clicked, hide, but if P is pressed, show. So that, you need to remember that if you're going to put anything at the start, any title screen, that you go through other sprites if you've already built them and adjust the thing that starts them off and makes them show at the start. The first set of aliens are pretty much the same, nothing much has changed there really. They move in the same way. The difference is, obviously we've got a second set of aliens, so I duplicated the first set and just made some adjustments. They're told to hide when the flag is clicked, as we've already said there. When the P key is pressed, they're told to wait 7 seconds, so that gives you a chance to shoot at the yellow aliens. They've got their own starting position, they show at that point, and they move in the same way really, so they still bounce off the edge, they still drop down in the same way, they still disappear when the bullet hits them and make a noise at that point as well. So they all function in the same way really. The only difference is they move a little quicker each time, so the orange set had moved 7 steps, these blue ones have moved 10 steps, and they've got an 11-second delay before they appear. And the final ones, the pink ones there, they got a 14-second delay before they appear after pressing the P key. They move at different speeds, so that one's 8, that one's 7, 9, and 6 for the final one there, so I wanted them to all go different speeds. The difference with the pink ones is they don't move down the screen, they sit at the top of the screen just bouncing, but of course they fire their bullets as well. Getting those bullets to work is probably the trickiest thing that you'll add to the game. If you can see in the sprite area down here, every baddie sprite, every final baddie sprite rather, has got a kind of partner bullet. So we've got final baddie 1 there, and next to it final baddie 1 bullet. So they're kind of in pairs all the way through, and the way it works is that bullet sprite follows the baddie sprite around. So when the flag is clicked here you can see the instruction, go to final baddie 1 but be hidden, and again when the P key is pressed there, the same time delay, so they appear after 14 seconds, and they switch costume. We've got just a pink costume and a black costume, so we can essentially make them show up or not on the background. And then this bit of script here kind of makes them fire and drop down the screen, but then also return to the baddie. So we say here, forever, we want them hidden, but we want them pointing towards final baddie 1 and moving 30 steps. That means they'll always kind of snap back to the baddie if they have moved. These if blocks are really the most complicated part, really. It says if, and then we've got some operator blocks in, and it says pick a random number, 1 to 10. And if that number equals 3, then fire, and the instruction is to show, so it appears, and then I've just used a glide block to send it to a particular location on the screen, and then after that they snap back to the final baddie 1 with the go to block at the bottom there. So the computer's picking a random number. You can set the range, that basically is how often it will fire. So we've got a 1 in 10 chance of that glide location being selected. Under that I've done another if block, and it works in the same way, but we said if pick a random number 1 to 10, but if it equals 10, so it's a different kind of instance of triggering it here, and I've just put a different glide block in, so there's 2 possible locations for that bullet to glide to, and both of those have got a 1 in 10 chance of happening. And the other bullets work in the same way, but we've just put some different coordinates in each time for those, so all the bullets are going to different places, but they all behave in the same way. And the final instruction for the baddie bullets is this little part at the top here. It says when I get the message hide bullet 3, hide and switch to costume 2. So costume 2 is their black costume, and they get that message when their partner sprite, their partner final baddie, has been hit by the bullet. So hitting them, the baddies will also make the bullets disappear as well. And you can see that is just broadcast messages all set up on the cannon sprite there, sending that instruction. The final thing is the scoring system's been altered slightly. So the game ends when you've destroyed those final 4 baddies, which is this bit of instruction on the cannon here. So when the P key is pressed, the score variable appears, it's set to 0, and then after that it says if it gets to 4, it's going to play a little bit of music and give us the kind of congratulations message there. And we get those points back on our final baddies here. You can see that if the final baddies touch sprite 2, which is my cannon's bullet, we're awarded a point for that. So because there's 4 of them, obviously 4 is the most we can get, and you have to in effect have killed everybody in the game to get those 4 points, and that'll win the game for you. So that's about it. I would suggest the best way to do it really is to download this scratch file yourself and have a really good look through it. Take your time to look at all the different bits of script and figure out how they all work and where the messages are going between the things, especially those broadcast messages, and I'm sure you're going to create some really great games with those. And if you manage to take your game even further than we have here, please let us know about it, because we'd be delighted to see what you've been doing.